Alright, just making sure we're live. Alright, looks like we're live. So, yep. Hi, guys. Good says hi. I am good. But, yeah. Here's my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The final film in the Guardians trilogy. Yeah, man, I'm gonna miss these guys because, it's basically the final film in the franchise. Well, in the Guardians franchise from James Gunn. Yeah, like, he just left it and went out of the band, basically. Yeah, it's a solid final film for the Guardians because after this film, we're not gonna probably see all of the Guardians together ever again. I don't think so anyway, but yeah. Because, yeah, I guess for 2 minutes, non-spoilers, the last 8 minutes spoilers, yeah, so that's how I'm going to do it, so from now. Okay, so yeah, it's a solid final film, yeah. You get to see a lot of character development with flipping Nebula, of all people, to a degree, Drax, but, it's the same lovable idiot that we all know. Just the stuff to do with Mantis is cool too, yeah. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with Gamora, but I'm kind of happy with how it goes by the end, I guess. And then, yeah, just Rocket, like, he just basically... It's basically his film, which, when I get to spoilers, I'll talk about that whole story, like, my god. Like, wow. Like, that whole story just gave me the most emotions I've ever felt from an MCU film, so I can say that at least. Yeah, like, god damn. They go hard with that story, Rocket's story, because we finally get to see his origin, which I'll talk about in spoilers. Like, man. And then there's Yondu's, the person that, he gave the mantle to. Like, you've got him trying to still learn how to use the arrow, because from the end of Guardians 2 to the Christmas special to now, the beginning of the movie, he still hasn't really mastered it. Yeah. But I like how they end things with that storyline at the end too, so yeah. Just everyone gets a fitting ending, especially since it's the final film for the Guardians, the original Guardians anyway, if they decide to make more after this, which, I don't know. I don't think they will, and to me, this is the perfect way to end it. And would they even make more without James Gunn, because he's going to be more focused on the DCU and possibly making it better, but all I can say, like, after watching this film, like, I feel like he could make good DCU films, but will they make money? That's the thing. Because this movie, I don't know if it's going to make money, that's the thing. I mean, you could say it's because, Marvel's just gone downhill and people are not going to give this movie a chance. I mean, if I was convinced this was going to be a good movie from the trailers, especially since I didn't fully agree with what James Gunn's done with what he's going to do with the DCU, like getting rid of Henry Cavill and stuff, keeping around Ezra Miller, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have watched this film because of that, but because it actually truly feels like it's a send off to like characters that I grew up with and loved. That's why I gave it a chance. Yeah, and I know I'm gonna miss them. No. And yeah, I just definitely recommend this movie if I was going to rate it. Between 8 and 8.2 out of 10. Because, to me it's not like the best Marvel movie ever made, in my opinion, but it probably gave me the most strongest emotions, because for the whole film, it nearly brought me to tears each time. And by the end, if no one was around, I probably would have let out all my tears, because inside I was crying. Yeah, basically crying. Yeah. But it's a solid final film for the Guardians. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So damn, where do we start? I guess where basically the movie starts off, which if you've watched my intros like so many times, you always get to see that scene where a hand's basically reaching out to little Rocket when he was younger, before he joined the Guardians and everything. And I was always wanted to know, like, man, how deep is this story gonna be? Because we're watching Guardians 1 and 2. He gives hints of what he went through when he was getting experimented on. Yeah, and man, they go hard on that story. Like, damn. If you're someone that loves animals, man, I don't even know if you could survive this movie, because Jesus. There's like, let's just say there's a bunch of animals in this film, and they get tortured and killed. Like, Jesus, oh my god. Because basically, Rocket basically makes friends when he gets basically experimented on. Yeah, like they capture a bunch of raccoons, which obviously by the end they reveal that Rocket's a raccoon, and he's never truly known what he really was. Just imagine not really knowing what you actually are your whole life. Like, damn. So when people just call him stuff, like, he just gets pissed off, because at the end of the day, he doesn't really know who he is and just the trauma that he went through as well. Yeah, which we fully get to see in this film finally, and why we know how he is, because we just know he's been through a lot with how his attitude has always been, even when things are better for him, like when he has his friends and stuff. Like, he's still not fully happy. I mean, he's happy to have the Guardians, but from what he's been through, damn. Yeah, because that storyline goes deep with the original friends he had, because we basically get to meet his first friends he ever had, and basically having a big bond with them. And then I guess Rocket ends up being super intelligent, where his creator like takes acknowledgement to him and basically helps him make things that he couldn't, make himself, and he kind of gets a bit pissed by that, the creator. But then he still values him to some degree, because basically, I guess this creator guy, I forget his name, which I know he's a good villain, but not good enough for me to remember his name. But yeah, basically, he's trying to create the most perfect life forms by basically mashing all types of species together, which, man, I can't imagine, because they kind of show a little bit how brutal it must have been, like, to create Rocket and all the others, because we just see so many deformed animals that are kind of combined with other animals. It's just, man, it's crazy to see. But then they still make you care about him, and Rocket, like, man, they made it look like he was something else, like, because they kind of attached his body to, like, other animals. It's just the way, oh my god, yeah. Like, they can make you just imagine how brutal it was, because they show a little bit, but then they could have went all out, like, man. And when flipping Rocket gets to finally release his rage on what he does to him, and when it gets to the point where, kills his friends, his original friends, that he formed when he was imprisoned by his creator. Yeah, he just flipping destroys the creator's face, and I'm just like, oh, so brutal, and I love it. Yeah, and then he tries to escape afterwards. He shoots down some of the creator's men, and basically leaves and escapes. And probably for the longest time, he was alone until he met Groot, and then the Guardians in the first film. Just, yeah, and he made great friends, to the point where when flipping Adam Warlock comes to kill the Guardians, his main goal is to get Rocket for the creator, because basically the creator created the Adam Warlock's people, and the mother basically is forced to make Adam Warlock go after the Guardians. And, man, the first person Adam destroys is flipping Rocket, because for a lot of the movie, Rocket's basically out, and we're just basically getting to see his backstory while he's out, because, yeah, if we didn't really have that part of the movie, yeah, we basically would have no Rocket. Yeah, because they decided to, like, put most of the focus in this movie on Rocket. Yeah, which is just done so well. We get to see him as just a little raccoon to when he gets older and actually escapes. Yeah. And it's just done so well. Probably some of the best flashbacks I've seen in a movie. I can actually say that. That's just crazy to say, because there's a lot of movies that have really good flashbacks, but, man, they've probably done the best. Like, man, like, damn. I mean, I'd have to go back and remember flashbacks that have been used in films. Like, Infinity War has really good ones with, Gamora and Thanos' forming, like, the relationship, the father and daughter relationship and stuff. And, the scene where it says, what did it cost and everything, like, the hallucination, like, that part when he's basically won, just, yeah, all them kind of things. Yeah, they just do flashbacks really well in this film. Yeah, really, really, really well. And just the Guardians struggling to, save Rocket. It's just, man, and having to find where this creator lives, because he basically ends up making, like, some counter-Earth, which, man, it basically looks like Earth, but then there's just a bunch of strange looking people, like, you see flipping pandas acting like humans and everything, and create, like, some new language. Yeah, and he's just basically trying to make the most perfect beings, and he ends up creating these kids who he just views as trash if they're not, like, to his standards, because he's like a mad scientist basically. And he seems powerful too, where you can literally destroy an entire planet, like, so easily. Yeah, which, Adam Warlock, because Adam Warlock at first, he's just doing what his mother wants, but then when that planet gets destroyed, when I guess the Guardians are trying to escape, because basically Peter tries to confront, the creator to help Rocket and find some kind of solution. It doesn't really end well, and flipping, Peter Quill and Groot decide to just fight their way out, and you just get a cool scene with Groot and Peter just shooting everything, and you just see Groot with multiple hands and guns. It's just that's that awesome scene. And then when they try to escape, and you basically see the guy from Superstore, man, I forget his name, but yeah, they basically use him to escape. Like, they smash him out the window, and Groot turns into like a flipping bird, and they basically escape. Yeah. And yeah, they basically get the thing that they need to save Rocket, but they basically just need to get out the planet too. Like, yeah, because everyone's basically in dire situations. I mean, Drax, Mantis, and Nebula end up getting in danger. They also kind of recruit Gamora because they need to find a way to put her in the movie, because for the first half of the movie she's not really in it, because this version of Gamora isn't really that close to the Guardians. Mostly only her sister, but it never really got to the, with that version of Gamora, it never really got to the point where, she actually formed a proper, true bond with her sister, like the original Gamora did. So yeah, they kind of was also kind of building that back up, but it never really gets back to how it was, but they have like a mutual respect for each other by the end, yeah. And just Gamora's journey, like this version, because it's not the original Gamora. It's interesting, because these are people who she doesn't care, no shits about, and then to a degree, Nebula, and the Nebula in this movie is basically the Gamora that we lost. Like, she becomes more like the Gamora that we actually cared about, and yeah, just her character's just done so well in this movie. She gets way more powerful, where she actually then gets a killing blow on Adam Warlock, because flipping Drax, he actually shows some strength in this film. I mean, he doesn't win, but he actually does a good fighting chance against Adam Warlock. It's just, he wasn't prepared for like Adam Warlock's true strength. But I have to say, when it comes to like the weaknesses of this film, that kind of takes points away. It's Adam Warlock not truly being as powerful as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, they kind of let me down a bit with Adam Warlock. Like, I was thinking, like, are they going to fail Adam Warlock? I wouldn't say they fully fail him. I was kind of expecting more from his character though. That's the thing. Yeah. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just okay. That's the best I can say. It's just okay. He's no Vision. I mean, he possibly could be more powerful than Vision. Oh my god. I don't even know what to say with that though. Because Vision, man, he can lift Thor's hammer and stuff, but that's if he's worthy. Like, yeah, just... It'd be hard to say, because the way how Marvel just nerf their characters to make them weaker, and then some are actually on the level that they should be, it's just sometimes all over the place. Sometimes they make them way too weak, like Drax. He basically killed Thanos in the comics, where, man, he was just kind of a letdown. But at this point, at least they make Drax more capable of actually being able to wreck people. Because in Guardians 1 and 2, like, he wasn't really that strong. I mean, sometimes he could beat basic, creatures that he's stronger than, but yeah, when it comes to like big threats, he kind of struggled. Even with one of Ronan's henchmen, he had a hard time fighting him, but he does beat him. But for a lot of the fight, he had a hard time fighting him. But at this point, I feel like Drax could possibly kill one in flipping one shot. I mean, possibly, because he actually does seem like he's actually mostly winning the fight when he's fighting Adam Warlock, so that was impressive. And Rocket, has a good fighting chance against Adam Warlock, but he wasn't fully prepared for him. But if he was more prepared for him actually coming, then I feel like he could have thought of a plan to actually fight against him. But he gets taken out by Adam Warlock, and then he dies, and then that's when they have to go to that counter Earth to save him. But then, like I said, Mantis, Drax, and Nebula get captured. So they can have to work together to get out, which they also find these kids that I was talking about that the creator makes that just seem like this so superior to everything, but not superior enough to hold the whole society together. But to me, like, with what the Guardians are trying to do with Norway, they could probably do a really good job with Norway. So by the end, like, those kids could be really useful to help rebuild Norway. At least they'll actually have people to actually care for them too, but they could actually help rebuild society too. Yeah, especially when they grow up. Because, by the end, they obviously save the kids, and then just had the entrance of Groot's story too. Not Groot's story, Rocket's story. Yeah. because he decides to confront his creator and fight him. And the Guardians also go help Rocket, because if he tries to, because basically they spent the whole movie trying to save him. So if he died now, oh my god, that would suck. And then it gets to a point where flipping Peter dies too. I'm just like, oh my god, he's basically dead. Just this movie just putting me through a roller coaster of emotions. Just everything with what happened to Rocket's original friends, like they all died. So his current friends nearly all dying for him. Just all those stuff, like man. And then get to the point where he actually gets to free all the animals that have been locked up in there. To the point where it gets so ironic, where basically he was the one who was imprisoned, and and you see the creator reaching out to collect him, and then he's actually on the other side looking at the same raccoons that he once was, and he's the one to actually free them. It's just it's so well done, man. Just man, done so well. And just the stuff with Gamora and Peter, because he knows he'll never get to fully be with that Gamora, but she gets to a point where she respects them and understands what that original Gamora had, like a true family. Because these Ravagers are just people that she works with. They'll never be true family, so yeah. I mean, we'll never fully know what kind of ending like Gamora would get, because I don't even know if they'd even show her again after this film. I don't even know what they're going to do with a lot of characters, to be honest, because I'm just going to say it, no one dies, but basically the Guardians disband after this film. They decide to find their own purpose in life, I guess, because in this film they basically nearly die multiple times. Like remember at the beginning of Guardians 2, basically when Drax, Nebula and Mantis get captured, they nearly get killed by 3 of those monsters that you see at the beginning of Guardians 2, which they struggled with once. So imagine they're having to take on 3, and they basically had no chance. And it was only lucky that Mantis was able to reason with one of them, and then they just all helped him escape. And then you just get to see the Guardians work together to help Rocket when he's trying to free his animal friends. Well, the animals that was imprisoned just like him, because he just wants to confront his fears at this point, because going back to that place probably was his biggest fear, and what just makes everything that he's been through unforgettable. Yeah, to the point where Nebula says that, man, he must have went through way worse than I did, which I don't even know, because Nebula, like, you see the kind of things that she can endure. Like, she literally gets her whole neck destroyed, and she could just like repair it and stuff. So imagine the original experience of breaking your neck and everything. Like, that must have been painful. Like, man. But then Groot, he literally got ripped apart, like fully ripped apart, and then more bits put on him. Yeah, and basically the creator just wanted to get his brain to replicate what he's able to do. Because the creator wants him to create the ultimate, I guess, society. Because I guess that's his goal. But I don't know if he'd try to make all worlds like that, or just create the ultimate world by sacrificing a bunch of other people. Yeah. Because he feels like there's no God and he is the true God or something. Just all that stuff. Yeah. And just seeing the Guardians go for his people to the point where some of his people even turn against him, but he kills them all. Yeah. He's kind of a cliche villain, but probably the best written since I don't even know when. I mean, but oh man, I don't even know what to say, because I don't even count No Way Home as a full MCU movie. It's a Sony movie to me, so yeah. And it seems like they're gonna have another banner with Spider-Man too, like Into the Spider-Verse. That looks, because I saw the trailer for that too, and that looks good. Yeah. But yeah, as for Marvel, they've just made so many shit films after shit films, and this is finally a good one. And yeah, it just sucks, man, because this was a fitting ending for the Guardians, but oh man, we just know things are not going to get better after this film. Maybe Secret Invasion can be good, but that's just a TV show. As for the films, I literally have nothing to look forward to. The Blade film's a mess, like the writing for that film's a mess. Just the Marvel's going to be just terrible. Oh my god, there's no hope for Marvel at this point. So to me, I could literally just leave here, and at least it ends off in a high note, saying goodbye to the Guardians. So yeah, but yeah, that's all I've got to say, really. Yeah, it's a great film. They basically did end up defeating the villain, the creator, flipping rip his face off. I think Gamora gets the last blow, and yeah, just literally doing something like where he's basically a bigger man. Like Rocket's a bigger man than flipping Nico Bellic. Because man, if I'm gonna compare flipping Nico Bellic from GTA 4 to, you know, Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, man, Rocket went through a lot, man. He went through a lot. He literally lost everyone and just everything that happened to him physically and mentally. You'd think he'd want to kill the person that destroyed his whole life and just everything that he went through, but he actually decides to spare him and becomes basically a better person and finally gets rid of all that, you know, everything that was inside of him all those years. So basically, if I ever play GTA 4 again, I'm probably not going to kill Darko, because yeah, Nico also goes for a lot too, obviously, but man, to actually spare him, because if you've played GTA 4, you know what Darko did to Nico, killed his friends and everything, for $1,000, not like $1 million, like $1,000 he betrayed Nico and all of his friends, got them all killed, and then all the blame went on Nico, just all that stuff, like man. But if out of them two, man, it's just crazy that Rocket decided to actually spare the person that put him through so much distraught and misery. Yeah, and just it completes Rocket's story basically so well. Yeah, probably the most complete story. One of the most, I'd say, because you know you've got Iron Man and stuff. Just there's a lot of characters that get good endings, but then there's some that, you know, it's not really perfect. Like to me, Black Widow was like, I definitely respect her sacrifice, but I feel like it wasn't done well enough. I mean, obviously to me it did have a big impact to help him win against Thanos in Endgame, but she didn't get enough respect for her sacrifice to me, only from flipping Hawkeye and stuff. Because by the end of Endgame, Iron Man gets the whole glory to me. Like literally everyone comes to his funeral. You don't really get that with, you know, Natasha when she basically died. Because the only people that was really truly grieving her was Hawkeye and her sister. I mean, you know, Natasha's sister, which you're seeing at the end of the Black Widow film, I guess. But yeah, yeah, it's like Rocket's story's done really well. Yeah. And Peter's story, oh man, finally reuniting with his uncle, because, you know, in the first Guardians film, we just see Peter run away after his mum dies. And then, you know, the whole story that happens afterwards, but then it gets to a point where Mantis literally convinces him to see if his uncle's still alive after all that time. And just, when you get to that final scene, when he's reuniting with his uncle, oh my god, I wanted to cry. Oh damn, because like, he literally had someone still left from his mother's life. Like, his uncle was still alive after all that time. Yeah, someone was looking after him because, you know, he's really old. He's like in his 90s, but he at least gets to spend time with him before he possibly, you know, passes on in a few years. But yeah, at least he'll get to actually spend time with him. Someone that was actually related to his mother, yeah. And that's all thanks to Mantis, his sister, yeah. And how some of them decide to, I guess, stay and help rebuild Norway, yeah. Gamora, she probably goes back to the Avengers. Yeah, just everyone basically splits up to a degree, yeah, where I just don't think we'll see the original Guardians. Peter basically ends up passing the mantle to Rocket, which he forms a new Guardian squad with Adam Warlock and I guess one of the smart kids, which I guess kind of reminded Drax of his daughter, which he has like some nice moments with her. Yeah, it's a nice ending and a good send-off. Because like I said, no one dies, but just seeing the whole team disband and just going their separate ways, it was the way how they did it's just so emotional. Yeah. Oh man, oh, such a good film. And if it's the last good Marvel film for a very long time, at least they went out with a bang. Yeah. So yeah, that's my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, oh man, I just don't know what's gonna happen to Marvel going forward, and it just sucks that this movie doesn't really make money. Yeah, because it was actually a good Marvel film after so long. Yeah, to me, since Endgame, because I just don't count No Way Home. You can to a degree, but as a full MCU movie, this was really good. Yeah. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed my review. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.